I studied Smicha, finished last year with the Montefiore Endowment under Dayan Sadia Amor, the head of the Sephardi Beddin. And on the course with us is now Rabbi David Steinhoff, who is the head of the Sephardi Kashrus. This class is about 3 different issues. Number 1, which is why are bugs not kosher? What does the Torah actually say about them? Number 2, how small do they have to be that it doesn't matter? And number 3, how does checking bugs and insects work? That's an important thing to understand. So first things first, the Torah source, Vayikra. I'm going to try and show you, what I've done is I've learned the sources all the way from the Torah to today, but I'm going to show you a lot of the concepts, so even in the verses in the Torah. Okay, it's mentioned a few times, it's in Deuteronomy, but the main source, as you might know, is in the set of Shmini, where it talks about the general laws of kashrut. And in this section towards the end, it's got the section about creepy crawlies. So let's read. V'chol hasheret hashoretz ala aretz shekethu lo ya'achel. And all creeping things that crawl on the earth, and that's going to be important later. What happens if they don't crawl on the earth? What happens if they're in the waters? And so on. Sheketz. Now what's a sheketz? So the word often used in the Bibles is abomination. It's a very bad word. I'll tell you why. Because there's 2 different words. There's sheketz and to'eva, and they're different words. And as soon as you do the word abomination, first of all we have sexual connotations with the issue of homosexuality and other things. And also it sounds all biblical and weird. What does abomination mean? Right? The abominable snowman. What's abominable? Right? I don't like words that are kind of weird. So I chose repugnance. But remember, sheket's not the same as to'eva. To'eva is about a wrong desire. That's more to do with emotional issues. This is more about, it's ichi. Right? Whatever you teach your kids, ichi, bleh. That's what sheketz means. Oh, right? Bleh. I don't know how you spell that, but you can pronounce it quite clearly in most languages. Okay, you shouldn't eat it. Now, but remember, kol ha'olech al gachol. Okay, whatever goes on its belly, it's opposed to an animal with legs, right? It goes on 4 or more legs. Every creepy crawly that crawls on the earth, you shouldn't eat them. It's disgusting, right? It's repugnant. Now, 43, right? Therefore, you shouldn't make yourselves, it actually says your souls repugnant. So it is repugnant, and it makes you repugnant. And all these kind of creepy crawlies. And you shouldn't become impure through them, unclean by them, and become defiled. So there's issues of impurity and disgusting. And that's one of the reasons I'm not going to eat them, because the Torah says not to, and I separate from them. When they do industrial kashrut, they never will serve you fresh broccoli. No Orthodox kashrut license will use fresh broccoli. Okay? Right? They will use frozen broccoli, and I'll tell you why, but they'll never use fresh broccoli. And the reason is as follows. Can you try and cut and just shave off the very thin edges of it, as thin as you can? A bit wider. So let's see if we can find any. If we don't, that's really good. But let's see, stop there. Right? Just stop there. And I'm not even saying, can you see this thing here? You have to even open it to look inside it. Now, if David was here, he'd be able to find them. You can stop. We'll see if we can find inside. Thrips are 1 millimeter long. They're visible. I'm not sure if that's one over here. What's that? And they're very hard to find in these things. Now, this is often called ice broccoli because it's packed in ice, right? And they store it to keep it fresh. When you pack it in ice, it will kill the thrip, right? But it won't explode it. And therefore, it's a whole insect which is visible to the naked eye. Not visible to the naked eye, we'll see in a minute, halachically is not a problem, right? But if it's visible to the naked eye, and it's whole, right? And you check one bit of it and you find them, or they're normally found, you can't have it. Because it's likely if it's there, it's going to be somewhere else, because you assume an even spread. Now, bag of salad. You need to check this. So what have they done? They have washed it over and over again. They've checked it. They don't want you to find a bug that you can see. Why not? Because you'll go, and you'll apply it again, which is why you buy a bag of salad. But nevertheless, it's been washed. You lift it up, and again you assume an even formation. If there were bugs in here, they'd be evenly spread. Therefore, you don't need to check the whole thing. You pick up a couple of leaves, and you just look. I said, what about water? He goes, don't stop me with water. Just look at the light. Hold it up to the light. Can I see anything? It looks clean. Now, why are you doing that? Come on, occasionally, not very often. You bought a bag and it had a slit in it. Yeah? It does happen. By mistake. Sometimes, and you've all had cereal where occasionally something weird is inside it. Accidentally, even in a factory, it can happen. So all you've got to do, you check a couple of leaves, it's fine, I'm eating it. Done. Done! Because they've washed it and they've checked it. let's just do a bit of strawberries. Okay? Here are your strawberries. These are not so good ones, actually. Interesting. So David says a few things. First of all, the main culprits in strawberries are the strawberry mite. And the strawberry mites live just underneath the leaves here. Okay, that's where they'll be. Just underneath the leaves. Now you can tell, he says, if it's not, I bought this fresh, but not so. He said, the less fresh it is, the more the leaves rise. Okay? So what he says, what you do is, and the problem is, if you pull it off, they jump down. They go down. So what you do, it's very simple. No detergent, no vinegar, right? Take your knife and you cut off just 1 millimetre off the top. That's fine. Now you'll wash it because they could spray things on it or because just for healthy reasons, and then you just look to see if there's anything on it normally, but there isn't, and you're done, and you can eat it. I want you to understand that, so you don't need to be over the top strict about that, because that's where they are, right? Finally, on the lettuce, so peeling off bits is very difficult, right? So here's what David says you do. I hope this works. You cut out the middle bit, and then you go like this. You hear that? And then you can peel them off nice and neatly. He says this is very important for weddings when they want to put the lovely bit of salmon in the middle with a whole leaf. That's how they do it. And now you can peel off each one, and it doesn't crack because you've bunched it here and it separates them all out. And then again, he says probably about half, because the issue here is they're not as evenly distributed because they can't get in between, right? So you'd have to check up half of them. But again, you don't have to put water in and wash it in water if you find them. If you don't find anything, you just look at half of them, hold on to the light. I can't see anything with my eye now. If you need your glasses checked, or if you're standing over here, not okay. Decent light, and your eyesight's decent, then you can do it and it's fine. And you're done, a few, I can't see anything, it's fine. If you did find something, then there's the issue of washing. Okay? What you do is you put some water in, right? And you wash it. What David says the best way of doing things is you then take a white little bowl, a white little, what's it called? Very small saucer, a little saucer, and put it in the water and lift it up and see if you can see any bugs in that. Right? If you don't see any, then you're fine. If you see it again, or 3 times, then you've got to wash it again. 3 times in a row, it's over. Because then it could be anywhere, you're never going to find all of them, and it's over. So you have to chuck it away. That's very, very unlikely, but that's what you would do. Okay? The Torah says you can't eat insects. Right? If you want to follow Torah law and keep kashrut, then just like you separate meat and milk, just like you don't eat pork, right, or you don't eat animal that wasn't shechted, you can't eat insects, and you know that. And then you go, well, they're small. Well, yeah, if they're too small to see, the naked eye, it's not relevant, because they're not angels, absolutely. But if you can see them, then you have to make a decent effort to check. When you pick something up and you put it in your basket, one thing. When you pick another thing up and you go, you know what, better not. That act of putting it down is havdalah. It's a conscious thing that only humans can do to make a conscious decision. I will choose what I'm eating. And I'm committed to my religion on a particular level, and I want to choose what I eat. Your consciousness matters. Right? Scientists have spent years just trying to find the Higgs boson, which is not visible to the naked eye, to understand the nature of the physical world. So we do the same in halakha as well, to understand the complexities of our world. That's worth doing, and that's what we do in terms of microbes and meaning. But I hope you've enjoyed it and learned some things today. Have a lovely day. Thank you very much.